drinking this coffee. You know, none of the Starbucks are open in the morning when I come in, so I usually get a coffee now the night before, put it in the fridge, and then I put it in the microwave in the morning, and it doesn't. I don't have the patience for it, so it's usually not hot. Mm-hmm. So I just chug it, and it's gross. I have the worst taste in my mouth. It's just gross. It's just gross. I don't get coffee at all. But at any rate, I came up with this idea yesterday, and I don't know if this is an idea that already exists. But my kids and I, we're all in on this Chipotle kick.
Yeah, you guys are.
Yeah, big
Every
time.
time you post it, I'm like, I crave it. It's a
but
struggle.
Here's what I've noticed. That I'm assuming Chipotles are owned by different people, just like McDonald's are owned by different people. I don't know. But there are 2 Chipotles that we go to quite a bit. And every time we go to these Chipotles, this one is very consistent where it's always really good. And then there's one where it's not really good. Like the service is just like, and the food is just, right? It's still Chipotle. It's still good. Mm-hmm. It's still like, I'm like, oh, okay. But compared to the other one's really good.
What is it, like the seasoning in the meats?
I guess so. And it's just like.
Shouldn't that all be the same?
That's what I'm saying. I would think, right?
Yeah.
So then yesterday, we were at this mall, the mall over by you guys, which I almost talked my kids into going to that restaurant, Kyle, you go to all the time to get the cheesecake. What's that called?
Cafe Zupas?
Yes, there was a Cafe Zupas across from the Chipotle.
There? It's so delicious.
I was trying to tell my kids that they go, let's go to Chipotle. And we pull up and go, hey, look, there's a Cafe Zupas. Kyle's goes there all the time. And she gets a cheesecake. And they're like, Chipotle!
For a second, I thought you were going to talk about Cheesecake Factory because it's at that mall. So I got confused.
No,
but
my
yes,
wife wanted to go to
Cafe Zupas is where I
Cheesecake Factory, but we didn't have time. So Kemp and Jake and I went to the Chipotle across from the Cafe Zupas. You know which Chipotle I'm talking about now?
Yeah.
Okay. That Chipotle was phenomenal, which was better than the Chipotle that we go to all the time, which is the better one of the 2 that I go to all the time.
East side's best
The
side.
third Chipotle that I'm bringing up was like a chef was brought in to cook the Chipotle food there, right?
Really?
I've never
But the
noticed
problem was
difference.
I know.
the portions were so small. Right, so I'm sitting there with my kids, and I'm upset at my portion. They're upset at their portion, except for Jake. Jake got a massive burrito, but Kemp and I got bowls. So I was like, there needs to be an app. First I said, I want to go to all the Chipotles and rate all the Chipotles on the taste, on the portion size, and how long you got to wait in line, right? That's it. Because we got into that Chipotle yesterday. There was only one person in front of us. By the time we were done, there was a huge line behind us. I don't know what the timing was, but also there should be like some kind of points where like, score, I got in, and now there's a line behind me. What? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But the Chipotle was amazing. Like I was sitting like looking around, like I want to tell people, you don't understand. If you come here all the time, this is a great Chipotle.
So what you're talking about is creating Yelp, but just for Chipotle.
See, that's what I said. I said, is there an app for this already?
Yeah.
So they have different in Yelp. They have different Chipotles. You rate different Chipotles. Different locations?
Different locations.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah. You should go to the manager and say, hey, as a restaurateur myself, you have a fabulous selection of food, but the portions are too small.
I wanted to go in there and ask, who owns this Chipotle?
Yeah.
Is this? And then I wanted, they probably say, well, corporate. I don't know how it works. But the owner of that Chipotle has got it down. That taste of that Chipotle is a 100 out of a 100. But the portions were too small.
Okay, but what I don't understand is it's a franchise, right? So they're all supposed to be consistent.
I know, but they're not.
It's like when you get a cheeseburger at McDonald's in Kentucky, it should be the same as when you get the cheeseburger in California and Arizona.
I think it must come down to the staff. Maybe they're not into it. Like yesterday. Oh, by the way, so also thinking about this, what got me over there is that I feel like we're starting to wind down now, the pandemic, and maybe slowly getting back into normal life. And I could tell I had this moment yesterday where, like, my wife and I, my kids, we're going to do a charity fashion show. And so, which we've done a bunch of these. So yesterday we had to go to the mall to get fitted for clothes, to get our clothes. And I was having this moment like, oh my God, this is like the first thing I've done. And I was like, no, we're getting back into real life. And then I thought actually interacting with people, it was not fun. And it was, and I think we all, if my experience is if I use my experience as a lesson, I think we all need to take a chill pill on interacting with other people, because I was definitely guilty of that. Like I was supposed to go to the Dillards, and when I've done this in the past, that they asked me all my sizes and stuff before I went, and then when I get to the Dillards, they're like, there's usually when I go, there's someone that handles me and they have all my clothes there and you just try on the clothes and I go, right? But this time I went and when I go, there's nobody there and they're like, yeah, just pick out whatever you want for the fashion show. And I'm like, what do you mean whatever I want? Just go in the men's department and get whatever you want to wear for the fashion show. Well, A, I don't want to shop. B, why'd you ask me my sizes if I'm going to pick out whatever I want? You know what I mean? C, the guy didn't want to help me at all, wanted no part of helping me. But then I'm like, is this more me and him being new to interacting with people since we haven't done it in a year?
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Could
Sure.
be, yeah.
That's where I had this. So then I remember I was at church a while ago, and I remember the preacher saying something about, I was doing it for charity, so I was like, inconvenience yourself for 15 minutes a day to help other people, right? So I had that going in my head. I'm like, chill. This is for charity. So I was there like an hour figuring stuff out. And then finally I left and went to Chipotle. My wife stayed and shopped for 4 hours yesterday.
Dang.
4 hours. I think, again, it was like there was something about, hey, is this back to normal? Except, you know what I mean? She was like shopping. She had a mask on with my son Dutch, and they shopped for quite some time. They came home at 8 o'clock at night last night. We started at 4.